regularly scheduled July meeting of the Newell School Board to order. I'm going to start with the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll ask for a moment of silence, please. All right, thank you very much. Moving to our agenda. Do we have any additions or changes?
We have the resignation of Cheryl Goldenberger for junior high assistant basketball coach, Dylan Kessler, resignation of golf coach, addition of Michelle Stockard for instructional coach, and the addition of Macy Shutek as the assistant cross-country coach.
Are we just adding those all onto one, or?
Will it go underneath item G, or do you want to start?
H, or?
It will go under G, or, yeah, one, two,
Under G?
When you say Cheryl Holdenberger, that's the assistant girls basketball coach.
she's keeping that.
She's keeping that.
Okay. Cheryl Goldberger, resignation of junior high boys assistant. Dylan Kessler, resignation of golf coach. Michelle Stockard, addition as instructional coach. Macy Shutek, addition of cross-country assistant.
We read the other six as far as changes to the building.
That's it.
The board will now entertain a motion to approve our agenda as amended.
I move to approve the agenda as modified.
Second.
Motion's been made by Todd and seconded by Kristen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. I do not believe we have any statements of conflict of interest this evening. Does anybody have anything on this? Seeing none, we'll carry on to our consent agenda. We'll approve this all as one or individually, however you choose.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda all as one.
Motion's been made by Amber and seconded by Katie to approve our consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving to our end of year business, approval of the 2025-2026 student handbook.
I move to approve the student handbook for 2025-2026.
Second?
Motion's been made by Kristen and seconded by Amber. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving to approval of the 25-26 activity handbook.
I move to approve the 2025-2026 activity handbook.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Katie. Is there any further discussion on that? and receive the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Approve extracurricular coaches and supervisor assignments for the 25-26 school year.
I would make this motion, but do we need wages for each one to make the motion?
So I was just gonna offer the contracts to people who did it last year, because we've been individually doing the new ones. And then in August, we'll have all the wages listed if they choose to.
So this is just to approve the contracts to give to you.
Yes.
You still
Rather,
want-
yeah.
You want the names listed at this point, or it's hard to say as presented, or we may be the only ones with this list?
Do you have Bill Ginswell listed for us?
Yeah, I can pass that one on.
She's the assistant middle school.
I'll just read it quick.
Yeah, we need to make your motion for that list.
I move to approve soliciting contracts to Luke Bonefield for head girls basketball, Chad Oliver for head boys basketball, Tyler Watterson, head wrestling, Lonnie Mahaffey, assistant wrestling coach, Cheyenne Park, FFA, Molly Mose, prom and junior class, Molly Mose, NHS, Gail Ginsbaugh, assistant middle school volleyball, and I'm assuming that assistant volleyball is not varsity, okay? Sean Donahue for head girls basketball, junior high, Cheryl Hohenberger as the assistant girls basketball for junior high, Dan High for the head junior high boys basketball, and we've got Tyler already.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Todd and seconded by Amber. Is there any
Recuse myself from
Yeah.
So we're gonna need Dean for a quorum all of a sudden.
All right. We will roll call. Amber?
Yay. Yes.
Kristen recuses herself. Doug?
Aye.
Katie recuses herself. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Who was the second on that?
Amber was the second. Todd made the motion. Now for the closure of our 2024-2025 school year.
Move to adjourn the 24-25 school year meeting.
Second?
Motion's been made by Todd and seconded by Kristen to adjourn our 2024-2025 school year school board meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I call to order the 2025-2026 school year. We have designations for the 2026 school board oath of office, Tyrell Bonnet and Don Gardner.
Yeah.
Yep.
I, Tyrell Bonnet,
Gardner,
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of South Dakota, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties as a member of the school board of Newell School District 9-2, Butte County, South Dakota, to do the best of my ability, and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during the continuance in said office and until my successor is elected and qualified.
All right, number 3, election of officers. We'll start out with the chairman. Do I have any recommendations?
I would nominate Mr. Bonnet as chair.
A second?
Anyone else? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, so over to you, Mr. Chairman.
The board will now entertain nominations for the vice chair.
I nominate Dawn Gardner for vice chair.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Motion's been made by Amber and seconded by Todd to nominate Dawn Gardner as the vice chair. Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Kristen.
Oh, great. Oh, second.
There's been a nomination for Kristen Bonefield as vice chair and a second, nominated by Katie and seconded by Dawn. Are there any further nominations?
No. This piece of paper makes
We have to have a spare sheet of paper.
We'll put our hats on.
Thumbs up.
Sorry, and you can count us.
All the writers, what you can
Sure, your boss.
Oh, I can take them. Oh, shit, that's gonna go real quick. You're voting for vice chair?
Right, Kristen or Dawn, please.
You look better.
Dawn.
I just get shocked.
I'm gonna let you know if that's any better. Or if we need to close the tab, shut the fans down. Pretty much none of us want to do that. Because we need to really be here.
So we probably contribute.
Kristen, is it?
Spanish for you, Katie.
Well, I guess you don't have to right now. Actually, Vice Chairman Kristen Bonefield. Moving to our reports, we will start with our business manager.
So I do a little quick report. Every time I gave you a contingency transfer, I thought I was just gonna go right in SI and do this, but I actually don't know how to get it in the computer. So I go to new business manager training next week. I will figure out how to do it, but nothing will change off of here. It just will be officially in the computer, and then the next reports will be adjusted accordingly. I tried to put comments on why they were possibly over budget, so if you have any questions, you can ask there. I know last month there was some question about our checking account, so I did put in there that from July 1st last year till June 30th this year, we actually increased our account by over $530,000. I didn't put in here, but we do actually, Todd kind of he caught me a mistake, which was great. So I appreciate when you guys like actually read through that and help me out. We do have $96,000 coming. It will be $32,000 title, $29,000 REAP, and $34,000 approximately for the IDEA grants. So I submitted those, so those will be recorded back to this. They just didn't show up on the reports yet. So in August, after I made all the adjustments and amendments, I'll get a cleaned up version of the end of the fiscal year for you. So the cell phone situation, I went to Verizon. They said I need to give them a personal driver's license to set up a business account. And it's still like go through my personal account. And there was a business guy at the thing, and they said you have to have a driver's license to establish an account. And then they said I could separate it, like it wouldn't have to be through my personal, I just need a driver's license. So ultimately, as long as I'm here, and then if I got fired or quit or something, then the next business manager would have to go get their driver's license. So, not sure that's, I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of keeping it separate. So I'll look into other companies or maybe do some other investigating to see if that's what we really want to do. I did go look at a van, a 15-passenger van at North Colorado. I know we budgeted for it, drove really nice. I test drove a couple SUVs, but I don't want to just spend the money without somebody else looking at it. So if anybody else wants to go look or want some drives with me, like, that would be, I can just see how drives, I don't know anything else what with. So if anybody's interested in looking at those or helping out, then that would be very awesome. Yes.
Now, with the added info with some other questions, they answered.
Yes.
So in our general fund contingency transfers, we transferred out $9,929 for other food
Oh.
services.
So that's the fresh fruits and vegetables. So we pay for the fresh fruits and vegetables out of general, and it actually shows up as an income. So on your revenue where it says, what is this? Okay, now I gotta find it. Oh, right there, the 104151 federal FF&B grant,
Okay,
the
yeah.
9314. That is the reimbursement for that we pay for.
Okay.
So
Doesn't
my
look
guess
much,
is that last year it just didn't get a line item budgeted, so there was zero budgeted. So I just can't leave it in the red, so.
Okay. I guess to elaborate if everyone else, since I was the cause of heated debate on the food service, wanting to know the number. The number's there, but that's after our transfer as well. That's what I questioned Amy earlier about. So we're still $23,500 in the hole in our food service. This is why I was fussing.
I mean, we're not in the hole, that's just, yes, okay. We would have been only at 8,000 right now if we didn't do that 15.
Yeah.
We'd be in the hole soon.
Any other questions, Randy?
What Verizon store did you go to?
I just went to the one in Spearfish because the others you found an appointment for in Rapid, but I will. But when I went there, the general manager who sets up business accounts was there.
Mine's an EIN, it never showed.
No, he said I needed EIN, but I also have my driver's license. You probably showed on yours, but you own your own business. So you probably didn't think about it.
You don't even need your driver's license to open a checking account.
So they said I needed the EIN and my driver's license.
I wonder if you go to like one of the corporate stores in Rapid, because I went to that store for something on my phone
Right.
once, and they're like privately owned, and so everything was weird.
Right.
So I can just stop in the one in Rapid and ask them what is required to open a business.
No, I would keep looking too, but
Yeah.
that was my first answer. I'm like, I don't
Because
know.
it doesn't make sense for you to have to put your driver's license down. To me, that doesn't solve the
But that
problem.
doesn't solve, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for any of you either, because
No,
at any
but that's
point,
what
you know.
I
so-
can't imagine that, like a publicly traded company.
So I said, I don't want my name associated, that's
Right.
the whole point of a business account, I
Yeah.
said, you have to have a driver's license to establish any, because it's gonna be a new line.
I'll stop in Rapid tomorrow at Verizon and ask them.
So yeah, and I've always just used Verizon, so I could venture out to a different company.
I think you want Verizon.
So anyway, for the time being, not doing it. So.
I'll follow up this with you.
Could reach out to the irrigation district because all the ditch riders have their own phones. They might be able to tell you how to have that set up too.
Remember
Do
first
something
call.
similar.
So,
All right, thank you very much. Moving to our K principal.
At the end of June, the 24th and 25th, we went to a conference in Sioux Falls for most of the elementary teachers, all the new teachers, Michelle Stockers. We all went there. We created goals for this next year and steps on how to get there. We're going to have some continued training on our Tier 1, our whole group instruction, because we have a lot of new teachers. So they were going to help us out with that. We're going to focus on different interventions. We're going to call leader time. Some progress monitoring, as well as I already have weekly PLCs in our calendar where teachers are going to get together and help each other out with lesson planning and get assistance in their lessons and how they do the different programs. Trainings are already scheduled for everybody for different curriculums that we have purchased. So we are set with that. And then on our way back, June 26th, Amy and I were in Pier, and we worked on and submitted our consolidated application to get our funding through title and IDEA funds.
it was very helpful to go.
Oh yes, having somebody there was extremely helpful. That's about it.
Any questions? Thank you. Moving to our high school principal superintendent.
Okay, first on the special ed side, we completed the first session of extended school year services in June. We had an average of 7 students per day, with some students attending more days than originally scheduled. The teacher reports that the students are making progress. The special education comprehensive plan is completed and being presented tonight for approval. Special education and general education staff attended the MTSS conference in Sioux Falls. Goals were developed for the MTSS implementation for the 25-26 school year. On the principal superintendent side, the Associated School Boards, School Administrators of South Dakota Joint Convention is August 7th and 8th. Kristen, are you still attending? I will be attending. Anyone else? Okay, well then we'll go there with final registration. I'll be attending the Superintendent Conference July 21st through the 23rd in Chamberlain. We will have our school open house on August 14th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Our in-service schedule for the first week is for the first 3 days of in-service before school starts. K-12, pre-K-12 will be doing basket training, so we will be progress monitoring every student, pre-K through 12. The high school staff will be, or middle school, high school staff will be involved with CPI training, while the elementary is having a team meeting to get themselves set up. They will have CPI training at the September meeting, while the 6-12 are doing first aid and CPR training. Then the elementary will be working on MTSS, while the high school, middle school will be working on the comprehensive needs assessment goals. I do have approval, I got approval this afternoon for grad credit for in-service, which includes the CPI training, team building, and disc assessment throughout the year. There's 4 in-services that we have to attend to get it, so. That's all I have. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving to open forum. Speakers will have 10 minutes to present comments to the school board, and extension of time may be granted pursuant to board policy should more than one person wish to address the school board on the same agenda item, or should the comments become repetitious, speaker time may be shortened. The district has policies related to complaints involving bullying, sexual harassment, school employees, or students. Code policies include procedures designed to balance the rights of the person bringing the complaint and the rights of the person against whom the complaint is being made. Complaints about bullying, sexual harassment, school employees, or students is brought to the board during the public forum. The person will be informed as to the applicable complaint procedure. Mr. Burke.
Not sure where I'm supposed to stand.
Wherever works.
My name's Cody Burke. My wife and I ranch 27 miles north of Newell. We have a daughter that attends school here. First off, as administration and elected officials, I want to thank you all for the job that you do here. I know it's a difficult job sometimes, but you guys do a great job balancing the needs of the district, and I hope you continue to consider all the children moving forward and doing what's best for all of them. So I guess my main concern for coming to this meeting, I sent an email to everyone. Hopefully everybody got it. So I guess you know my concerns. Just to reiterate, my concern is the bus route combining the north and the east routes together. The north route, it's about 25 miles from town to the pickup spot. So it's a 30-minute ride at minimum back into town under good weather conditions. So if we had an east route to that, I guess I'm not exactly sure where that route extends to, but at a minimum, if that's 15 minutes out and 15 minutes back, that's an hour on the bus for somebody that gets on out there. And I just think that's an awfully long ride for young students to be on a bus for more than an hour, especially those days where we have some weather. Those roads can have a lot of travel time. Just get back and forth. I guess if anybody has any questions for me, I have my email is there, my phone number is there. I'm always happy to talk about it. I guess I just encourage you to really think about that. But I would like to see that north route continue and just have its own designated route, and just continue all the routes throughout the district. So, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you very much. Next on our list is Mrs. Stone.
Well, first off, good evening, everyone. So before I begin, how do those seats feel? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel proud of the job you've done? Because from where I stand, those seats now represent the definition of community inaction and disregard for our children. But I hope that sits comfortably with you, because as long as you protect this corrupt administration while it harms the very students you're supposed to defend, your presence in those seats is worse than nothing at all. Even in the month where I didn't have my platform, when Facebook tried to silence me, I had so many people come up to me, asking how the fight's going, telling me you have to win this for all of us. And trust me, you don't even want to hear what's being said about the superintendent. Actually, maybe you do. Let's just say it ranges from, my mom said if you don't have anything nice to say nothing at all, to that woman is a witch. It's just quotes, and that's all it is.
I want to remind you, though, you've already referenced one staff member in particular. So if you would like to continue, please leave all the staff out of it and proceed with a general concern.
So how does it feel to be protecting the fox in the hen house? And not a single person I've talked to is happy with how the job's going and getting done. I get it. you might be scared, but I'm scared for our children. And that's why I will never be afraid. I truly hope your summer goes well. I hope it's productive. I know mine will be. Because when this inaction leaves our children suffering this fall, we'll all be suffering together in court. You've had your notices, you've had your warnings, and your refusal to act has put us all on a direct path to one outcome, months of litigation all winter long. And I'm ready for that. The real question is, are you? Now, in a truly functioning school board, I expect these repeated discussions will lead to some kind of impact, some kind of result. But with this board, all you ever do is emphasize just how dysfunctional this school and your leadership truly are. Nothing ever gets done because you're all too scared. And that must be a sad way to live, terrified of someone so ineffective. But I'll give credit. She is good at scaring you. Too bad that doesn't work on me. She had one shot to scare me, and when she failed to follow through.
Mrs. Snow, may I ask, who are you referring to when you say she?
Administration. Since
I
it's
will
a
repeat
multi-unit
myself.
role.
If you directly reference any staff members again, that will be the end of it.
All right. Well, it took less than 12 hours for 17 people to sign petitions calling for removal of the superintendent. That's
Mrs.
only,
Snow,
I know, I'm just
that
saying.
will- no, that will be the end of it.
All right, well, I'll see you next month.
We'll see you next month.
Yep, have a good day. You're elected too. Petitions can go up for you as well.
All right, that concludes everything we have for open forum this evening. We'll now move on to our new business. New business item A, designations for the 25-26 school year.
Before you vote, I was gonna let you know, I just found out that the Belfish Beacon can be an official newspaper now, if you were to choose to.
They can be now. And are they being delivered everywhere?
Which ones are free? The Beacon's free.
I believe it's free and it's Betty Bruner worked for them, and she's on the site, and I know I read something in last month that said they got their status to publish legal notices or something, so. Whatever you decide, I just,
We always thought about that in the past when we weren't able to.
So I moved to designate
and then I
First
have
National Bank as our
information,
depository.
I have information about food, so if you wanna wait on the meal prices also.
We can get to discussion.
Yeah.
I just don't want to prove it all without
Yep, no,
knowing
we'll,
those two things.
Yeah.
We'll line it out.
We have a motion to approve the depository's First National Bank from Todd. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dean. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving to our official newspaper.
You need to,
We don't need a motion to discuss.
we discuss and amend, right?
Well, if you would like to, now that we know, you could make your motion with the Beacon, and we could amend it back to the Pioneer if you so
You're
choose.
sure? Yes. It was in
Yes.
the newspaper.
I move to designate the official newspaper as the Belfish Beacon.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen and seconded by Amber. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yep. Go ahead.
I think before we, I agree, I think I would like to keep it a little more local, but I think we need to compare publication prices and make sure that our times, that the paper comes out in a timely fashion to follow codified law. I mean, the first, we've talked about the Beacon for some time, but it wasn't legal for us to do it. Now that it is, I fully agree, it'd be nice, but we gotta make sure that we can still follow the law, the letter of the law. And also, if it costs us $10 more for one or the other, it's pretty, I'd rather save the $10 every time we print minutes or whatever. That's what sucks about having a discussion after the motion.
Well, I know that it comes out weekly,
Yeah.
because like the whole pack comes out on a weekly basis. The Belfish, the St. Ange, the Newell paper all comes out.
I mean, I feel like there's only 1 or 2 days a week, I don't know for sure, but when I send my minutes, there's only like one option they print it too. It's not like, just because they go every day, doesn't mean they print it legally.
We have to have it submitted to make sure we hit their deadline.
Does the beacon reach the entirety of our district? I thought that might have been a question in the past as well.
I did ask the question on whether or not which one was free, because I don't think I get either one. I think the reason that the Black Hills Pioneer, I get that, is because mom and dad get it. In Vail. I don't think either one, and that was gonna be my other statement. There is a lot of our family that has actually subscribed to which they can subscribe to another paper too, but they have subscribed to the Black Hills Pioneer and receive it 700 miles away, just to see what's going on with our kids.
Okay, Betty must be listening.
Thank
Prices
you,
are the same, published every Wednesday. We have to publish every week to remain official, yes, to reach all of you county.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thanks, Betty. Do you get the beacon, Cody?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
We
He's on the highway.
We did it. It's like in my mailbox. I was up for a while.
Maybe I don't get it because I don't get the mail.
I wasn't gonna say that, but the thought came through me.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. To designate our purchasing agent as the superintendent.
I move to designate the purchasing agent as the superintendent.
Second.
Which has been made by Kristen, seconded by Dawn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Designated administrator for trusted agency account, business manager, school lunch fund, business manager, state and federal application reports, K-8 principal.
I move to designate administrators as stated.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Katie. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Establish day and time for our regular school board meetings.
I move to establish the date and time for our regular school board meetings as every second Monday at 6.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Amber. Is there any discussion?
So,
What did I read in the emails in regards to sporting events? There is no sporting events on Tuesdays now? Or maybe I misinterpreted it. I just,
Most of them are moved to Thursday,
Especially the long ones.
especially the long. Correct, Ms. Henricks and I had many conversations on the activity schedule and the impact on the school day holiday.
but there still is some on Tuesdays?
Yes.
Okay.
I would still like to see something change where it would be possible to attend other meetings that are scheduled. I mean, basically, I'm talking about the city here in town. Theirs is at the exact same time. there's date and time, and I know billing is a reason why we try to have our meetings when we do. But I guess I'm going against John Wayne, I'm whining without a solution, we just.
Well, and my personal preference, I guess, I don't like Mondays. Because Mondays is always chaos. But I don't, it's worked fine. I mean, but I don't want to miss sporting events either for this.
Yeah, wasn't it a policy you tried to come up with a date and it just, nothing worked? There was always a conflict on every other day.
Yeah, we've talked about Wednesdays once in the past, but I don't think
Wednesdays won't affect me, but that's beside the point. I'm not the only member.
I'm not on board for Wednesdays just because of religious classes are usually
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's
There's more Monday nights free than Tuesday nights.
Okay,
That's what I'm looking
Then-
at.
that was my only discussion. I'm fine with that.
The only, like, so I know, I don't know if this is set in stone, but on this facilities calendar, on Monday the 11th is a fall kickoff sports meeting, so I don't know if that can be changed, because that will be our conflict right away.
What day are you?
August 11th, which is the second Monday.
Well, I've been talking to Dominic about that either being the 4th or the 5th of August.
When do they start football practice?
7th.
No, they don't start till 13th. Volleyball starts at 14th.
That we can move around.
That's
So what
fine.
if-
But then on October 13th, that's a Monday, it's also a holiday. But there's middle school volleyball, high school volleyball, and high school football.
What?
Columbus Day.
Oh,
So I don't know if we wanna like establish now to have that one on Tuesday.
Could move to August and that one.
Probably wait until
Or wait till
September.
September. I
September.
was just looking ahead. 'cause
That way we
that's-
don't get too far ahead.
I didn't know if you wanted to publish now to switch them or just wait till we get there.
By the time October or September comes around, that Tuesday might not work either.
So what if we, not that our meetings tend to get over early, but if we bumped our start time up to like 5, with the potential of being done, because theirs starts at 6. 5 is I know, not,
How long does their meeting usually last?
Their meetings start at 5.
do they start at 5?
so let's go the other way.
Exactly, I
No,
would
it-
go to
I-
7.
Let me double check, but I know there's.
Some of the winter in traffic.
Yeah.
They always have.
You were late, and I wasn't gonna bring that up.
That
Certain
makes me
times.
have like,
I don't look at the
That's what today is. And if it has its
You were the first one.
I guess we won't, I will not be home before 9.
Because I always thought the city meeting was at 6 too, really, too.
I always thought they were at 6, but
Do the city meetings only last an hour?
it varies.
No meeting lasts. I got it.
It all depends on what's going on now.
Okay.
In theory.
Yeah.
You probably had that saved as an icon on your phone, so
Well, theirs is up to date on their Facebook like Newell School is, but they have been 5 for the last year. And they have been changing, like whenever they have a holiday on Monday, they do switch them to Tuesday.
Is there any reason why it has to be the second Monday?
so
Billy.
I have, like,
Could it be the
there's
first
no way I
Monday?
could get this stuff, like, so look at this. I have the checkbooks reconciled. And I don't get those till the 1st. So think about like August 1st is a Friday, that give me a Monday. I'm supposed to have the stuff to you the previous Wednesday.
The third Monday is too late.
A lot of like, I mean, if I got everything set up on ACH, but a lot of the, you know, like bills are due.
Like the 15th or whatever. That's when the most recent agenda says.
So that's why we found this. There's just no way we would do it.
Ours used to start at 6:30.
Yeah.
We usually start at 6:30, right?
We used to start at 6:30.
Is there any further?
We're at 6:30.
Well, you know, if you're working around city council, it doesn't matter. Amy and I are here getting ready all the time anyway. You know, it's either a different night or just continue on. I mean, the city really has more flexibility than we do.
Right, so we have all the sports and people.
You know, and we've tried to accommodate, and it didn't happen because of our policy, and they haven't tried to accommodate, so I would say if they want us there, that, you know, let's be real.
And that's very true, this has been
Yeah.
a 10-year deal.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote for second Monday at 6. What's that?
Who made the second on that motion?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm slacking.
Yeah, Kristen made it, and seconded it. Proceed to vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Moving to establishing our meal prices, lunch at $3.25, K through 5, 6 through 12 at $3.75, adults at $5, second entree at $2.75, extra milk is 75 cents, adult salad bar is $4.50, breakfast $2.50, K through 12, $3.50 for an adult, and milk is 75 cents.
So Betty worked to kind of get an average. This is just 1 week average. Obviously, it's gonna switch. So the average for breakfast is $2.25. Average for lunch is $4.30. So I mean, we could raise our prices a little, but then, you know, it's makes it more unaffordable for those that already can't afford it.
One more time, can you tell me?
Okay, the average was $2.25 for, yeah, I didn't write it on there. This is what she gave me, I did the average, I wrote it on there.
Okay.
Average $2.25 for breakfast, $4.30 for lunch. I think the milk price is not gonna change. I mean, that fluctuates with. I mean, even if you raise them a quarter, it might help a little bit, I don't know.
I don't understand why the milk on this sheet is 31 cents and we're at 75.
That's what we're charging.
Well, this is what it costs them.
Yes.
This is what we're, ouch.
And that's what the milk cost last year. So this is all, you know, last year's prices.
Well, you were reading averages, but I don't see the
They're not on
average.
there. I just plugged them in my adding machine and
Okay.
averaged them.
So would you repeat those?
$2.25 for breakfast, $4.30 for lunch.
Looks like our breakfast prices.
And,
Okay.
and is labor figured into that?
No, that's just flat food costs. Looks like milk will go up like 2 cents next year.
So this cost is just the cost of the product.
You're never gonna,
Yeah, but $1.25 for tomato soup?
I don't know, I didn't go back and look at it.
Well, I know,
So-
I know you didn't.
I mean, I did a similar thing years ago when I worked in Deadwood, where I broke down like, the rest of them are probably pretty close on though.
If it was
And I
fresh
know-
tomato soup, that might be a different story, but.
Last year we didn't get as many commodities as we did the previous year. So like chicken and turkey, some of those meats come as commodities, so I haven't heard how that's gonna play out, cause
So what was the reasoning for that?
that's just what the government gives you, I don't know.
But the beef, the beef
The
is,
beef was donated, but we still had to pay quite a bit for processing. But chicken products, some of the lunch meats, some of that comes as commodities, but we just didn't get. They open up and you can pick it, but they just didn't open it up for us this year.
So is it normal that your cost is above what you're charging? Is that a normal thing at schools?
You're not gonna make profit. I
You're not
know
gonna-
that, it's not like a restaurant where you triple your price, you know.
No, I know,
like-
but it's surprising to me that we don't even break even on it.
Right, which we didn't do a product thing last year. You know, if you took out that expensive one, like
I
maybe.
know, that's what I looked at.
Like if that tomato soup was maybe only supposed to be 25 cents, that's gonna drop that down to like $4 probably.
And I know like the littler kids aren't usually offered the soup anyways, so that would change the price.
Or
salad bar. Or salad bar.
And I don't know if we have to decide we have to decide this today or by August, I don't know. Actually, we do, because I have to put in a report.
That's done today.
Because I'm pretty sure it's due before August 11th.
Can we, once we say we approve this price, can we modify our price?
I don't think without jumping through hoops. We have to submit to the state, for us to get state reimbursement,
Okay,
we have
that's,
to submit a ton of paperwork, I think, I was like 40 pages of.
yeah. No, I was just trying to look at it where, if we could kind of see where we ended up at these prices comparatively, and then maybe at least kick it up where the middle school kids pay the normal
Which there's-
price, what it costs for lunch. You know, if it's cost
Which is
us
$5 for middle school, high school, or no, $3.75.
$3.75.
So maybe there's gonna be,
I mean, so I guess to split the difference, I could see bumping all the lunches by a quarter. I mean, but I think it's been stated that we're probably gonna end up in the same boat. Because those who can't pay or don't pay are still gonna not. But I don't know if those who can, I mean, we're putting the burden on them to cover the difference, but
would it be $1 a week? 25 cents a day.
For lunch and then for breakfast.
And
And
breakfast,
then if they
can't
have
teenage
X amount of
boys with
kids.
that at home.
no.
We're looking at like $7.75 right now. Maybe
My teenage
right now. Yeah.
Well, he would prefer just one
Make
thing,
money.
for the money we can get on that.
Yeah, we do make some money on the milk, so maybe that's basically the raise we were looking at doing. A quarter.
So we already, I guess we got into discussion without a motion. I'll break it out there. I move to approve the meal prices with an increase of 25 cents on the lunch prices across the board, but leave the breakfast as presented. And milk would stay the same.
Is that for the second entree too?
Ooh. Yeah.
Which I don't think that second entree, we're gonna try to do, so when I was in Deadwood, we had different prices for it, like if you wanted dinner roll, it was 50 cents, if you wanted this, like, I don't think those have to be set in stone necessarily, like, the whole, if you have a full meal, but we're gonna work on adjusting that, so.
Because
So you could pay for what you want.
My thought, is there a second to your motion?
Not yet.
Second.
My thoughts, if you're gonna raise it by a quarter across the board, it's breakfast too.
You said it's breakfast too?
Mhm.
Motion
Yeah, you
for
know-
lunch.
Because one of my biggest things is, my children are still not full, even when they go back for seconds, and when they go back, they're hungry.
And that's just the federal guidelines.
It is, I get it. I'm not saying that that's our fault, but I guess if we're going to be crunching numbers, a quarter across the board, I don't think it's not gonna help us being in the deficit at the end. And if they can't pay, they can't pay. But I guess it gets us a little bit closer to making this actually pencil.
It is still cheaper than my Lunchable and all my junk I sent my one kids.
My kids can't eat at home for that.
the sausage egg McMuffin is $6. With that, I would amend my motion to include breakfast for the 25 cent. Everything else would stay the same.
Amendment's been made to the motion on the table to include the breakfast with a quarter increase. Yeah, Katie seconded it. There was a second for the amendment. Todd made the amendment, and Katie seconded it.
So that's just for lunch and just for
Correct,
breakfast.
not without.
Second and entrees, salad bar, and milks remain the same.
Yes.
When was the last time we increased the lunch price, do you know?
I do not recall.
I was on the board,
I want to say.
so it's been 2 years ago, I think.
Because when it was your first year on the board.
I think they increased the milk last year. I still-
Yeah, we did do
so
that.
June was it?
I want to say the increase, this is one of those things that probably doesn't happen as it should. I think it catches us, so it happens about every 2 to 4 years, and we're like, yikes. It'd probably be a lot better if we gave a dime every year type of thing. But once again, $2 a week for a lot of people isn't a struggle, you don't even notice it.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment itself? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote on the amendment, which is to increase the breakfast rate to $2.75 for K through 12 and $3.75 for adults. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Amendment carries. The main motion on the table at the time being is lunch, $3.50 for K-5, $4 for 6-12, $5 1/4 for adults, second entree $2.75, extra milk 75 cents, adult salad bar $4.50, breakfast $2.75 for K-12, $3.75 for adults, and milk 75 cents.
Wouldn't the salad bar be $4.75?
We'll let that in. That was-
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I did not even think that, yeah. I missed it.
Oh, that's fine.
I move to establish the milk prices as listed.
We don't need-
Oh,
we just need discussion if there's any more. Because the main motion's still on the table as amended.
So I
about to listen out?
No, the motion's on the table.
It's already-
We're just in discussion.
Oh,
Or you just,
oh, okay. I thought, okay.
you're ready to vote.
So, is there any further discussion?
I
Seeing
think-
none,
I thought we weren't doing anything with the extras or the solid
We're
bar.
not.
We're not.
Okay. I thought that's how you read it though.
No, he said 275 second, Sal Barkley.
Okay, okay.
I will reread it through before we vote, just to be sure. Don?
Is this what other schools pay? Like, is this like reasonable for
Oh, yeah,
around
I
the
pay-
area? This is what everybody else is paying?
I think it's more in Bell. Plus, you know, in Bell, they can get little snacks, and my kids spend about $3 extra a day on jerky and chips and drinks.
While Amy's looking that up, I'll go through the motion again. Establish meal prices, lunch at $3.50 for K-5, $4.06 through 12, $5.25 for adults. Second entree, $2.75, extra milk, 75 cents, adult salad bar, $4.50. Breakfast, $2.75 for K-12, $3.75 for adults, and milk at 75 cents. That includes the amendment and the monthly total.
Okay, I do have a question. With that motion, because it's 6 through 12 is now $4. But the middle schoolers don't get the same amount of food as the high schoolers. They don't, because my daughter and my brother, or my son, fight like cats and dogs about it.
It's close, so,
I'll give you an example. Chicken nuggets, he gets 3 and she gets 5 or something like that. So what are you looking at that's gonna answer that question?
nothing
No,
to answer that.
She's looking to compare it to the price of the.
Oh, compared it to Bell.
Price wise, because Don asked when we compared it locally.
Because we get to about Brewell Road and those two in there, when I'm in the vehicle with them, they're fighting over it because they're starving.
She is, that's good. It's, he's, I'm professional, true. And I can do it for
Well,
But the bus goes all the way to Orwix.
yeah, I need the bus to get the.
I do. I don't take double R.
No.
No, it's a lot slower.
I can get that one.
Well, the bus did.
It doesn't sound like a lot. but
There's nobody out
have
riding
multiple
anymore out
trips.
there.
Yeah.
I understand both sides, but it falls on the best of people who pay versus we don't refuse lunches.
I know Betty just went to her conference, I should have had her come, but she said a lot of schools are struggling with this decision of how do you get them to pay more, how do you,
Would it be possible for Betty to come every once in a while and give a report like she used to? It's kind of nice to hear about our lunch program. If she would, every once in a
oh,
while.
someone give me a 30-day transaction history for 30 days.
Has any more thought been given on how to encourage people to apply for the free and reduced lunches? Because it does matter to our financial bottom line. Whether they get approved or not is ultimately irrelevant, but we had that discussion. I don't know if we had it in a committee or if we had it here.
We had it here on the 26th, and
Okay.
that's, I went to work on the parent resources of the webpage and rebuilt that and so forth, but we haven't went further on.
Because we had talked about the possibility of the,
The open house is gonna be important to prepare for.
okay,
Is there any other questions?
Well, these are current prices for Sturgis from Lee County.
I just put it down.
I got 330 for lunch, grades K through 8. $3.60 for high school. Adult lunches at 5. Breakfast at $2 for students and $2.85 for adults.
So what's the difference?
In Deadwood is K5, 345, and 612, 370. And breakfast for all grades is 265.
One of my thoughts on this before we vote on this is, we're gonna lose money anyway. Does it, to my mind, the most important thing is that the kids get something to eat. Which I know that we're not gonna steer them away,
Because we'll feed them, no matter what.
but
We're required to.
Where you're going. Just in my mind, I think for the potential of future help from the state and the feds, if we show an attempt at balancing the act, I don't know if that will apply or not.
There are, I haven't refreshed the, on the board, there are rules too about it. What you have to charge to get, I don't know all the rules, but you have to stay within a certain amount to get reimbursed. Like, they don't want to supplement you, like, you can't have it so low.
The way I look at it is if we were to figure our fuel prices to put up hay or feed cows through the winter at the same price that we figured our fuel prices at 5 to 10 years ago, we won't be able to afford to do either of those. Just because of the increase in the cost of that commodity. But I look at the food, it's no different than your grocery bill. The $4 doesn't go near as far at the grocery store as it did a year ago.
you mean 400 doesn't go near
Yeah.
as far as it did.
I think if you take out the one day that's 582 and I average the other 3 out, it's 378 for our cost. So that one day brings it up to 430.
Yeah.
The day where we have the chili and the fresh vegetables and that. So I don't.
So there's the other tacos are, walking tacos are expensive, there's other, I mean, this is just.
Yeah.
I don't, as a parent, I wouldn't mind paying extra 25 cents, helping out it's still cheaper than the Lunchables and muffins and all the other stuff. And like you said, like, it's not gonna hurt me or most of the parents, it's still cheaper.
A Lunchable is like giving them a cracker.
Yeah,
That's it, one.
well, when you have picky kids, if, like,
Well, they're good.
Hardin County
right,
is
they're expensive though.
375 for K5 and 425 for 612.
Yeah, I think those larger
525 for
schools
adult.
are able to like buy in bulk and get that cheaper price.
Never
Still good
spoiled,
too, I
don't have to
think.
cook it.
Yeah.
Harding County's probably pretty similar. in
I
our
think,
size.
Yeah.
probably more
It's
comfortable with the
Okay.
smaller
They're
store.
a little bit cheaper.
That'll last for
Do
like
what?
ever.
It'd be more comparable if we use the smaller schools to look at than Sturgis.
All right. We will proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I,
Amber?
yes, sir.
We'll roll call.
Nate.
Kristen?
Yes.
Don?
Nay.
Yes.
Yes. John?
Yes.
Yeah.
The ayes have it, 4-3. Motion carries. Moving to designate Title IX Coordinator K, Principal, Title IX Investigator K, Principal, Title IX Appellate Decision Maker, Superintendent.
I move to approve as stated.
Motion's been made by Kristen and seconded by Katie. Is there any discussion?
I don't know what this is.
Title IX, sexual harassment.
Okay?
Here a couple of years ago, we switched the decision maker for the appeals to the superintendent, so there's a separation of duties between the investigator and the coordinator, and the one that would make a decision if it was an appeal for anything. Was it out 2 years ago? Might have been 3 years ago.
It came with the new federal Title IX laws.
Yes.
Okay, so this just is designating that Paul would be from K through,
No, he's the coordinator, and it's his position is K-8 principal. So that K-8 principal would be the coordinator for the entire district,
okay,
as well as the investigator for the entire district. That K-8 principal is just his job description.
okay.
I think it's so that one individual is not the entire overseer of the program, for just in case that one individual is the perpetrator. Does that make sense?
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Set lodging, meals, and mileage rates. Lodging at $133 a night. Meal rates, adults breakfast $6, lunch $14, supper $20. Student breakfast $5, lunch $8, and supper $12. A day mileage rate of 51 cents a mile with an exception of special education out-of-district placement at the IRS rate of 65.5 cents.
Should have had this one closer to the last one. Comparing meal prices.
So, I motion first, then I'll tell you.
Move to set the prices as stated.
Motion been made by Crystal, seconded by Katie. Is there any discussion?
So I will let you know, I did not do my job and investigate this last year, and I paid the students per diem at the adult rate all last year, because I didn't even, I'm sure we approved this in June, and I just didn't think about it. So those kids that went to like state track or FFA got the adult rate. It didn't put us obviously too much over budget anywhere, but just something to think about with the cost of going out to eat. Can we get a lunch for $8 at McDonald's or wherever they go? And then the other thing, I don't know if we want to change it and just say at the IRS rate, because it changes in October. And just leave it, so if it changes, we just follow the IRS rate and not put the dollar amount, or we bring it back up in October.
Why is there a separation for sped versus everything else at the IRS rate?
I don't know.
Because.
Is sped funds, federal funds?
Local,
It's both, yeah.
Iowa's federal.
I know I was here when we did that, and I cannot recall why.
Well, here,
If I remember correctly, we ended up, I think there was a parent that was driving their student to that out-of-district placement.
I'm not sure where the
And I think we did that sort of. Because at the time, I think we had to sacrifice a parent.
Is 51 cents the government rate?
One half the day.
No.
67 cents is.
Yeah, so that's how I was like.
It says special needs mileage is 87 cents or 67. On this sheet I got.
I think the mileage rate should be the federal IRS rate. Period. For every.
Yeah, like right here, high mileage 67 cents, special needs mileage is 87 cents actually. I mean, if we just follow,
The published rate, can we just state will be the published rate?
because it changes every, so like, again, I was knew last year, but this changed October after we approved these rates. And we never, you know, so like even, like officials, there's changes. Everybody's at 67 cents it was last year. Cause they follow the,
What kind of a financial nightmare, not necessarily financial, but bookkeeping nightmare, does that make you
I
have to
calculated.
adjust your mileage constantly as the IRS rate changes?
Yeah, but it doesn't change that often.
no, I think it changes every October.
Yeah, it does, it's annual.
Okay.
It'll change on, so like this is,
Federal fiscal year.
this one changed after last year, but, and then it would change again.
Every year.
Yeah.
So can we
I
just
think that'd be easier
put in
just
there
to
to just
follow
put
the.
the,
I guess I also have the question as far as why is students any different than adults? Because when you're traveling, you can't buy something on a menu for any one of those meals that's gonna be $1 less than,
and they're eating at the same places.
exactly.
And most like the FFA convention, it's just like a concession stand, you can barely get.
There's no way.
You get an ice cube at the concession stand for that.
So like I said, I already paid them all the adult rate last year, cause I didn't.
Can we
do
just
my-
have one
I didn't do
rate?
my due diligence and go back and look
Like
what we
that would make it
approved,
easier.
so.
So you're saying
I
meal
say-
rates, adults and students
I would say
are
it would be
the same?
easier for me, I don't think you could eat for $8 or $12 a You can barely eat for 20, really, dinner, so.
Well, it seems to make things more simple.
So just
So, I moved to amend that motion by maintaining the lodging rate and making adults and student rate the same as the adult rate, and mileage is federal rate,
as published,
federal IRS rate.
as published.
Second.
Amendment's been made by Dean, seconded by Eber.
Let's talk about meals, I'm hungry.
So the amendment
Chewing your arm.
will now read, set lodging meals and mileage rates. Lodging $133 a night, meal rates, adults and students, breakfast $6, lunch $14, supper $20, and mileage at the IRS rate of, or at the IRS rate.
And I can make sure, share this, what I'll be using and publish it in my office.
Do we have any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Amendment carries, excuse me. Now to our main motion, which I will reread again. Set lodging meals and mileage rates. Lodging $133 a night, meal rates, adults and students, breakfast $6, lunch $14, supper $20, and mileage at the IRS rate. Is there any further discussion on that? You have a question, Evan?
No.
Okay. Proceed vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Establish prices for activity tickets and admission, single admission $3, K-12, $5 for adults. Double header admission, $4 for K-12, $6 for adult. Activity tickets, $30 K-12, $50 for adult, $100 for family, free for 55 and older.
I move to establish activity prices as stated.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Dean. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Eliminate transportation fees for the 25-26 school year.
Okay, now I don't know what that means.
So we used to have a fee of, what, $20 a student for ride buses?
Oh,
I think.
Right.
So like just
For activities,
yes, get rid of it.
okay. Now I know.
I move to eliminate the transportation fees for the 2025-2026 school year.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Dawn. Is there any discussion?
Odd, I
Seeing
did not budget for it,
none- Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Establish board member compensation, $41 per meeting, state rate of 67 cents per mile for mileage, meals, and lodging. Committee meetings, state rate is 67 cents per mile for mileage.
I move to establish board member compensation as stated.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Katie. Is there any discussion?
Chairman, here I come.
I would recommend that you pay yourselves more, at least $50 a meeting. And I think you should have compensation for going to committee meetings.
I appreciate that sentiment. I personally feel until I think the school is a little bit more in a better position, I would feel not comfortable doing that.
I will second that thought. I do appreciate that thought, Dr. Pittman, but in the financial state we're in, I don't feel it appropriate for us to give ourselves a raise, more or less.
What do other schools do?
They're talking 75. I think you're greatly shorten yourselves, and you should really go look at what board members make for utilities, your water district, your electric companies, and we all pay it through the bills. And I think you're greatly shortchanging yourself for what you're getting paid. And I know you're elected officials, I'm saying this so your taxpayers can hear this, but this is not something that, I think that you guys are greatly shortchanging yourselves, and, we just pay our water bill, and we don't pay attention to what those board members are making for those dollars. And I feel that you guys deserve a raise, and I feel that you deserve to be paid to go to committee meetings. You guys put a lot of work in.
Thank you
Yes.
for that acknowledgement, Dr. Pittman.
I do have a question about the state rate per mile. Is that something that changes too quite often, where we would just take
I think
the
that's-
amount out and just put
I
state
put
rate,
IRS travel rate.
the state rate?
Yeah, well,
That's gonna be what goes up.
Yeah, so, yeah, and just take the amount out. I make a motion to amend to remove the 67 cents per mile. And just put in the state rate.
Second.
Amendment's been made by Katie and seconded by Dawn. To eliminate the 67 cents a mile for mileage in both of those locations and replace it with the IRS rate. That leaves it fluent, so we don't have to amend it on a yearly basis. Is there any discussion on that amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Amendment carries. Now to the main motion on the table. Establish board member compensation at $41 per meeting with the IRS rate for mileage, meals, and lodging, committee meetings at the IRS rate for mileage. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will proceed to vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Appoint our 504 coordinator as Amy Engel.
I move to appoint the 504 coordinator as Amy Engel.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Dawn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Appoint our school board attorney as KSB.
I move to reappoint KSB as our school attorney.
Second.
Motion's been made by Dean and seconded by Dawn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. The board will now entertain a motion to call for fuel, gas, beef, and propane bids. Do we need to milk as well?
Milk is, we just have one that we just approve every year, so it's a separate.
Yeah.
We should have approved it last month, I forgot.
Okay. Well, and just for reference, I think, I don't think last year, I don't think we had any bids come in for beef.
So I'll just use the same
Yeah.
thing. Here.
Then we just go back and use them all again.
I mean, if we get bids, it'd be,
Yeah,
Right, I'll leave it in there.
yeah. That was more or less just a heads up.
yeah.
That is something that we remember.
But
I think
Wall's
we-
the only one that can do it right now.
Yeah, the USDA.
They're the only one USDA inspected.
Yeah.
The Sturgis Meats isn't even in one.
Yeah, well, that's why we start back and
Well, I would agree with that.
To approve,
Got approved, but that.
call for
I
fuel,
think
gas,
Kitsy's
beef,
got
and
approved,
propane
but
bids.
that's probably one for land, right?
Motion's been made by Kristen, is there a second?
No, I think it's the second.
Seconded by Katie. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Designated agent of record for insurance, Susan Hensey for Western Dakota Insurers Incorporated.
I move to designate the agent of record for insurance as Susan Hensey, Western Dakota Insurers Incorporated.
Second.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Dawn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Authorize superintendent to close school in emergency situations and in case of inclement weather.
I move to approve the superintendent to close school in emergency situations in case of inclement weather.
Motion's been made by Kristen, seconded by Katie. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Authorize superintendent to set vacant days for any days missed due to emergency situations or inclement weather.
I move that we approve 17, 18, and 19 as stated.
Motion's been made to approve 17, 18, and 19 by Dean and seconded by Amber.
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I can't read fast enough to get past 17.
No, you're fine.
I'm,
Normally Todd has it figured out. He says we can approve these, but leave this one, and that one. So
I like it.
Just letting other people.
we might wanna, when we make this motion for this next one, we might wanna do it individually because that has a mileage rate in it. So when we make this motion, we might wanna clarify that as the IRS rate.
I'd make that motion clarified as the IRS rate.
Set rate for motion's been made by Dean to set rate for transportation reimbursement at the state rate beyond 5 miles to closest bus route pickup at the IRS rate.
Second.
And seconded by Kristen. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I move to table this.
I second it.
Motion's been made to table
Bus routes.
item 21, bus routes.
And refer to transportation.
Can we discuss? Once it's been, we vote on it, can we then discuss or no?
Being it's being tabled, we won't, but it's being referred to.
It's being,
I
add
would recommend referral to transportation committee.
that to the motion.
Yes.
Guess what?
Kristen, would you please amend your motion and add in tabling it, referring it to the transportation committee?
Yes, I move to table item 21 and refer it to the transportation committee.
I second it.
So next regularly scheduled meeting?
So we won't talk about it again until right before school starts? What if we need to hire a bus driver for that route if we don't combine them? Should we advertise for that? That's my question, because there's the same amount of kids almost north that go to the east. So if we advertise for a bus driver and if we don't advertise for one, but we don't end up combining, we're putting ourselves in a situation. Is my question.
When's the transportation meeting?
Well, that's what I was gonna, I don't know, I'm on that committee. When are we having our
Well, I
meeting?
think we were reestablishing.
Oh,
We're
We were
reestablishing
redoing
committees
committees.
here in,
Oh,
So we can set that committee meeting here in a minute or two.
I think the committee meeting would be open to.
and after the committee meeting,
Okay.
if needed, like you're thinking to fill a position,
Right.
we can always hold a special meeting.
But that's my question. If we wait, we're
Yeah.
too late. If we don't end up combining them.
Yeah. Motion was made by Kristen, seconded by Dean. Is there any discussion on the tabling of that item? Supposed to clarify and ask, Bill. We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries to table. Authorized payment of sports officials through trust and agency account with general fund reimbursing trust and agencies seasonally.
I'm going to approve as read.
Motion's been made by Dean. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kristen. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We need to appoint a legislative chairperson and an ASBSD voting delegate.
I thought I took this off here for the legislative committee.
Don't, maybe did, I was just fixing things, so I might have added it back.
Well,
Yeah, I recommend those appointments come from the legislative committee.
I was gonna say we can just appoint those.
I'll take that as a
I
motion.
was, there were 3 new businesses at one point, so I was trying
The
to.
motion has been made to appoint the legislative policy and marketing committee as our legislative chairperson and ASBSD voting delegate. Made by Dean. Is there a second? Seconded by Dean. Any discussion there? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. On to our committees. I do believe Dr. Pittman recommended 4 committees and was rolling the emergency management in with the budget negotiations and insurance committee. Is how she thought that would best.
I have a question.
Wait a minute, I thought I rolled it into the buildings grounds.
Perfect. That's what
Yes.
I was
I'm
wondering if
sorry, I
you.
copied and pasted and printed this off right before. So emergency management will go with buildings, grounds, and transportation, sorry. Yeah, negotiation.
So.
What are our thoughts? I wanna stay where I was.
We will take volunteers for those committees.
I
I do not remember where you were. I do have a list.
I was on the first 2.
We can do one committee at a time.
Yeah.
As long as I always bring them up there.
I'll throw my name in the budget committee.
Alright, so we'll start with budget negotiations and insurance. Dean?
If it's accepted.
Todd,
Dean, and who else for budget?
Dawn.
Okay, I will say on.
Might as well, you did all that work.
We did so much.
I know, I
And
feel
we
like I
learned
finally
so
know what I'm
much.
doing, yeah, I agree, thanks.
the negotiations is one that's
So much
nice to
easier.
keep familiar
Yeah.
faces on for sure. For buildings and grounds, transportation, and emergency management.
I would like to stay on that.
And Dean.
If no one else is interested, I will stay on that one as well. But if somebody else wants to try it, I will.
Okay, I'm done.
I'll be in the last 2. What? Yeah, I'm up for it.
Curriculum, instruction, and technology. I'll do that one again.
I'll do that one.
So Tyrell, Amber, and Katie.
Who else was on there? Amber? You said Tyrell, Amber, and
Katie.
Do we have to be on a certain number of these?
No.
Usually we're 3, but there are 5.
I try to break it up so you do at least 2.
Legislation, policy, and marketing.
I'd like to be on policy.
I'd like to be on policy.
Katie.
I know, I was like, it's you or me, right? You want to do it or you want me to?
Kristen, you said yeah?
Yes, please.
Because I'm on the policies to use for negotiation.
Who else is on
Yeah.
policy?
Amber and I are trying to decide.
Somebody got a quarter?
Yeah, exactly. You decide.
Nope, you're good. You can do it.
Cheryl.
And, alright, that takes care of appointing of committees. Moving to item D, approved 25-26 special ed comprehensive plan.
I'll move to approve 25-26 special education comprehensive plan.
Motion's been made by Dean, seconded by Katie. Is there any discussion?
Yes. It was emailed out to us and I looked at it. It looked like it was something that's just pretty much put together by the state.
Yeah, and then,
It's kind of our IDEA grant, you have to have it approved.
Okay.
And so Amy just
yeah,
changes whatever's necessary every year, so.
and then Mrs. Engel did go through other sped comprehensive needs for differences and pieces too. but a lot of that is federally and state mandated.
Can I sell policies?
Yes, that was your question, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. The new business item E, approved agreement for building room used by the WIT Coalition.
What does this mean?
We do it every year.
We're approving Sabrina being in this room?
Yeah, for the whatever it takes coalition to use the building room.
When I read it, I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay. I move to approve.
Motion's been made by Dean, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Amber, is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. New business item F, approve our milk bid.
I move to approve the milk bid. It went up 2 cents?
Yeah, it's one of those that the way the bid reads, it could fluctuate, like you're going on market
Right.
price.
I move to approve.
It's not locked, it's not locked in, it's like a floating rate.
By Dean, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kristen. Any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item G, approve administration recommendations for personnel.
I move to approve I through 6.
1 through 10.
What's 1 through, you know, 6?
Well, we added,
Oh,
we
yeah,
added,
1 through 10. That's where we added the 2 resignations.
Oh, I wasn't here.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, I apologize. I'll read through all of them.
Okay.
Motion's been made by Dean, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Katie. That includes Vincent Brechtel, half-time industrial arts teacher for the 25-26 year. Megan Arison, a second grade teacher for the 25-26 school year. Molly Mose, academic advisor for the 25-26 school year. Jesse Engel, head cross-country coach. Courtney Svoboda, technology coordinator, effective immediately. Kim Hamilton, summer custodian, effective immediately. Cheryl Holmberger, resignation as the junior high boys basketball assistant coach. Dylan Kessler for resignation as golf coach. Macy Shupik, or excuse me. No.
Cheryl.
Michelle Stocker.
Oh.
Sorry, I was behind, so I'm just writing down the initials.
Oh.
Michelle Stocker, as the instructional coach. And Macy Shupik as the cross-country assistant coach. So, is there any discussion on any of those?
Since I was not here when we added the Mary Stocker, so she's resigning from what?
No, she's being hired as a.
Oh, okay, 'cause that's what I read in the emails, but it was, okay,
Yep.
never mind.
No, so she's gonna be an instructional
Instructor.
coach.
The mentor type position.
Yep.
That's
So
what
that's
title told us to call it, is instructional.
Yeah.
So
Which
she's
is-
just gonna go from classroom to classroom, helping teachers teach.
She's already helping people.
I guess those new and young.
Okay, so then, yeah. The other question I got, also, do we have a wage for that we've approved?
1/7 of her,
Okay,
it's like 7,000. All the wages will be published next time I'll get
Okay.
to you. I was kind of reading it.
so then what is the academic advisor? That Molly is gonna be, what exactly?
That's that one we
Please,
did.
the job description and the announcement of the meeting
That's why it's got one. Okay.
It's like the student success coordinator part of.
Okay,
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
I move that we enter into executive session for SDCL 1-25-2. 1.
Motion's been made by Dean, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Amber, to go into executive session. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. All opposed, the board will enter into executive session at 7:46.
Yes.
You still have your arm. We go much longer and I'm gonna eat it. The bag.
There's some area there.
If we're going-
I don't know if it's out, but you